Catch the NBA playoffs on Sling TV, the most flexible live TV streaming service, putting consumers in control to watch games their way with flexible subscriptions. Want to catch one game or a full series on ESPN? Grab a 1, 3, or 7-day pass. If you want to catch as many games as possible, get a monthly subscription with our ABC, NBC, and ESPN combo package. Either way, Sling lets you watch the playoffs your way with no long-term contracts. Learn more at sling.com.
It's high noon up and down the Wasatch Front, and Scotty and the coach are just getting started.
Our show Karma got tested day one. We had the governor of the Jazz on a very pivotal day.
Yes.
Right before this supposed coin flip. And he came in and he was on the show, and we have video proof of that. The coin flip went the right direction for him, which means we gave him Karma. He came here, we shared it. So I think that should be something to take note of.
No pun intended. Well, it's going to beat you up if you use take note.
This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Joining us now for his weekly conversation, it is Kurt Helin from NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com. Kurt, we finally settled in on a permanent friend. Let me introduce you to Tim LaComb, longtime BYU and Utah assistant coach, and loves music as much as you do.
I'm excited to meet you. And by the way, I'm just excited to talk to him about whether he's willing to coach the Trailblazers for $7.25 an hour.
I've been considering it. This is a pretty good gig, though, Kurt. I'm not going to lie. This is a good one. So I'm going to let somebody else go coach that team.
That might be the wise move.
Yeah.
And you have to pay for everybody's T-shirts, too. There's not a budget for that.
Exactly. No T-shirts. And by the way, if you're staying in the hotel room past checkout, you're also paying for that. So.
Oh, man. What a mess that's not good PR when you're a new owner and you're trying to win over a fan base and everybody finds out you're doing everything on the cheap.
Yeah, I look, apparently this happened in Carolina as well with the NHL team. And he's right about this. And they've got a nice team there. If they start winning, this all goes away.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you win, the fan base won't care. So, but it also is not a good look. It's, as coach will happily tell you, basketball is a community, man. Everybody talks to everybody. And so it becomes harder to get, hey, maybe I don't want to be the masseuse for that team if I have another option.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, for sure.
Hours get shut down, man.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to get to. First off, let's as the Jazz actually won a coin toss, so they will be holding on to their draft pick. Even if the worst happens and 4 teams leapfrog them, the worst they could go is fall to number 8. So where are your thoughts that even if the worst happens, that they can get a really good player at 8?
They can get a really good player at 8. Look, the talking to scouts and stuff, most of them think there's kind of a tier at 9. Like there's about 8, and it depends really on what you think of Nate Ament, and he's kind of 9. But there's 8 players that, as one guy put it to me, there's the top guys who are, the AJs who are going to be good, Boozer, they're going to be very good in this league, but there's potential all-stars down to about 8, depending on, who you like where in that group of point guards. It's kind of fallen from 5 to 8, but all of those guys really have potential. So if you're in the top 8, you're going to get somebody good. And we'll see who that ends up being and how it fits in, but you're going to get somebody with potential one way or another.
You mentioned those point guards. I'm just curious because there's 3 really good ones there, and they're all so different. But out of Wagler, Flemings, and Acuff, who do you like?
Can I throw in Brown, by the way?
Yeah, let's throw Brown in too.
I saw him at Nike Hoop Summit a year ago and thought his game is better suited for the NBA than maybe college, where when he gets in the spacing, his pace and speed is in the right setting, can be really good. I like Fleming a lot. Fleming's a lot of that group, probably. I know how dynamic Acuff is. Like, it's fun to watch. Again, guy saw at Hoop Summit. He is fun to watch, but I just have concerns about a guy who's probably 6'6" when they measure him at the combine, is not a good defender already. And there's a book on undersized point guards who don't defend. And you can be Jalen Brunson, but that's more the exception to the rule than the rule. So I'm just more concerned there. that said, I think he's going to be a good pro, but I like Flemings and Wagler better personally. I'd be curious what you guys think.
We talked about, I think just Flemings to me is a guy who in some ways reminds me of Keontae a little bit. You know, he's got he played for Sampson, so he's a little tighter coming out of college. You know, there's a big difference between Scott Drew and Kelvin Sampson in terms of what's required. And so I feel like, and when you look at his assist to turnovers in college, it's 5.2 to 1.8. I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah. And so he plays with the ball on a string. I like his explosiveness, but there's something about the size of Wagler I like a lot too. You know, and I thought he showed really well in the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know scouts tend not to put too much into the tournament as opposed to those of us who don't get to watch as much college basketball. Right. Like, and suddenly we're like, oh, you should totally. But Wagler really stood out to me as somebody who I hadn't seen before. Where I was like, wow, he does really have a shooting potential, and like you said, the size really helps.
So we played the audio from Jaden McDaniels, essentially calling out every Denver Nugget for being a bad defender. The thing is, he's actually kind of right. As much as everybody in Denver wants to say that's bulletin board material, yeah, you can be mad about it all you want, but can you really flip the switch and become a good defender overnight? So, you know, Jaden Daniels put it out there, which probably wasn't the smartest move, but was he wrong?
Yeah, I'm sure Chris Finch would like to have a couple of words just about, you know. I don't think he's totally wrong in this sense, especially that they wore them down, right? Like, if you watch the fourth quarter and that whole game, really, they kind of made Murray and Jokic, they went at them enough to wear them down because there are good defenders on that team. Like, he threw Aaron Gordon in there.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon can defend for me any day of the week. Like, he's fine. They've got Christian Brown's a solid defender. Like, they've got some defenders, but it's a little like the Knicks in the sense that their offense kind of has to overcome some defensive flaws just built into their personnel. So I don't think he's totally wrong, but dude was also 7 of 15 in that game. He wasn't exactly lighting it up. He had 14 points on 15 shots. So I'd be a little careful lighting a fire under them. And he's going to get an impressive welcome when the series returns to Denver.
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah. We had a few kids pop off at inopportune times through the years. It's not the best thing. One of the best was we went to St. Mary's, and you know, Randy Bennett's a pretty good coach. They're pretty good there. Yeah. But we had a freshman go in and say, you know, tweet out, "This is literally a high school gym."
Oh, geez. Tell me it was JT.
No, I won't go into who because. Yeah. But anyway, they were pretty much ready for us, and that gym, regardless how big or small it was a bad place for us that night. Quick question on Wembanyama and his Defensive Player of the Year. How many of these is he going to win in a row now? You think he was unanimous?
Yeah, he had my vote. It's funny. I was talking with one of the betting experts at NBC over something else, and we're like, "What's the under/over? Is it like 7? 7.5? Like, how many is he going to win?" I mean, he's 22, and the only thing that would have kept him from winning this year was not reaching the games limit, and that might be the case going forward because, look, as great as Chet Holmgren is, as great as Rudy Gobert or Oscar Thompson or whoever you want to name as the next great defender is, nobody just changes the geometry of the game in the court like he does. I mean, I mentioned it in my story. How many times a game does somebody beat their man off the dribble, get into the paint and go, yeah, no.
Yeah.
just dribble out, pass out, do whatever. Like, they're like, no, I'm not even. No, I would try this against anybody else, but no.
Next year, is Steve Kerr the head coach of the Golden State Warriors?
No. Look, what I'd heard and very much is that he's reached the point where he's kind of ready to move on. This year, he thought they could make a push, and injuries were a part of this, man. But they don't get Jimmy Butler back now till middle of next season. Steph Curry's closer to 40 than 30. Draymond's closer to 40 than 30. So whatever bold moves they might choose to make in the offseason, that's still an older core. And I just don't know if I just don't think he wants to go through that again. Maybe he has a change of heart. We'll see where he is. I think he loves coaching. I still think he wants to be around basketball. I wouldn't be shocked if he's the Jerry West front office consultant for some team pretty quickly, but I don't know that he wants to, like, he has such good memories and such good experiences with this. I think he's just ready to step away before riding off into the sunset, essentially, because this, the Warriors are going to ride the Curry thing out as long as they should. I mean, he still held the building. Like, he's Steph Curry, but their contending days are over, and they kind of know that internally.
Do you buy the Todd Golden rumors?
That's an interesting one. I saw that. I know that. Here's why I would buy it. Apparently, he's got real connections to the LaComb family, and if you know the owner, that helps.
Yeah,
but it helps a lot. But we'll see. There's genuinely, and I know that they talked about this internally. There's genuine concern about. I mean, again, it's Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler. You're going to bring in a college coach. I don't care how good a college coach. That is going to be a big ask to come in and command that room in the way you kind of would have to. So I'm not sure if they go there, but they might have a conversation. And the next coach, whoever that is, rides out this, and you've got to get a developmental coach in there, because whatever is next is going to involve a bunch of player development. Like, that has got to be the core of whatever comes next there.
Yeah, the Golden State yard looks a little like a chop shop right now going forward, right? Yeah. Like pieces and parts. Yeah. And that's exactly. Never a good place to get to. Anything that has surprised you so far that you've seen in the playoff games that we've seen in the last couple nights?
Not wildly. I thought that Atlanta played more like I expected them to in game two last night. I thought that their athleticism and pressure could give the Knicks trouble, and it eventually did. I guess the one team I'm a little disappointed in is I thought maybe they could figure it out. I thought they'd maybe pull it together and make this more of a series. But, man, if they can't force turnovers and get out in transition, that half-court offense, I mean, Brandon Ingram was 3 of 15. They're not, and look, there's big guys. Evan Mobley is a really, elite defender, and they've got big guys in the paint. But that offense looks messy in the half court. And I don't know that James Harden does a lot of things, but he doesn't cough the ball up that much, man. Like, they're just not going to get the kind of turnovers and breakaways that they want.
So Billy Donovan flirted with the college game and decided to stay put in Chicago, and then they blew out, the upper management of that team to essentially felt like to keep him, and then ultimately he's like, yeah, no, I'm still going to shut it down. How much of a surprise is that there in Chicago?
It didn't seem as big a surprise to people around the Bulls as it did. Like, I was with you, man. They look, they essentially said whoever we're hiring as a GM has to fit around the coach. And I know he was angling for, the job next to you, Scotty, that coach got. I thought. He interviewed. Definitely targeting.
Kind of blew the interview. I was really surprised by that, but that's all right.
But it sounds like, and I didn't have any connections with this directly, but it sounds a lot like he stepped back from the situation. And this is why he was flirting with North Carolina, is he realized, they're going to bring in a new GM. This is a team on the treadmill. They don't want to tank. So they're like, how do you get out of that middle that they're kind of stuck in the NBA? It can be really challenging. You need a couple of breaks. You need to find somebody to either get a free agent or find somebody who can lift you out of that. And I don't think he saw it coming. And I think he's just ready for something new. And especially with a new, head of basketball operations and GM coming in, like, let them pick their coach, let them set this up. And he won't be short of options. He's going to be able to go college or pro. Like, I don't know what other, I don't think there's any other major college jobs expected to open up soon, but like, he'll have his choice of jobs if something comes up.
We got, I was just looking at a players poll on who they thought would win the championship this year. And obviously Oklahoma City's the favorite, I think in everybody's minds, players, fans, everybody. But how real are the Spurs as a deterrence to that this year?
Yeah. I have a hotel room booked in Oklahoma City already for the first 2 days.
Yeah.
Is it the haunted one?
No. There's a Marriott property that is literally 50 yards from the entrance to the building. And I'm like very happy with that arrangement.
Smart. Got to get those points.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you get a rollaway in there if I come down?
There you go.
Do the old rollaway game.
You're welcome to come
All right,
on
Kurt.
down.
Maybe we'll get to know each other better.
Yeah, there's a couple of places out there that serve beer I found too. So
Sweet.
Well, they're already better than Utah. Wow.
Gotta have a card for that.
No, I will tell you I'm a believer that there is something to be said for playoff basketball, like ordering off a different menu than the regular season in some ways because of the matchups and the way you're able to dive down. And I think there's something to the experience, but I also have a story up at NBC Sports you can find with a Google search about them believing that's not the case for them for two reasons. One is Victor Wembanyama's pretty good and kind of breaks rules, but the other one is their defense is so good. They believe that can carry them through some stretches of offensive struggles when they run up against, Denver in the next round or whomever, or Minnesota, whatever. But when they run into tough spots, they think the defense can carry them through and get them there. And I don't know that they're totally wrong because, man, Stephon Castle's not playing like a second-year player. Dylan Harper doesn't look anything like a rookie, man. That is a very deep, very talented, very well-coached team.
So I want to circle back a little bit on Minnesota. Do you think Denver's in trouble in this series?
Well, this was always I always thought it was a 6 or 7 game series anyway. This was a rivalry, and Minnesota is one of the few teams, they just have the size and physicality to match up with Denver. They can. Rudy Gobert has been fantastic in the first 2 games on Jokic, just as played as well as anyone could hope to against him. And it's never a one-man thing, but I think that they have, with Randall, with the guys they have, they just have the bulk and size to be physical. And so, yeah, I think that they have a real chance there to match up. And the other thing is in game 1, Anthony Edwards looked hampered by his knee, bothered by it. Whatever happened, or, whatever treatment he got, or just time, or whatever it was, he looked like his explosive self in game 2. And that's tough to deal with. that guy is so good when he's going like that.
We had Ryan Smith on yesterday, and he went on Pat McAfee and he talked about the tanking thing and essentially said, look, the way the league is set up now, it makes it very hard to acquire high-level talent via trades. Certainly free agency isn't where it was because the league has kind of built a system where they want to keep guys with their teams and incentivize guys to stay put. And so you're like, okay, so where is the path to find a way to get stars in this league to elevate your squad? Well, it comes now via the draft. That's the easiest way to acquire talent. And in doing so, that brings in tanking as an incentive to go down that path. And he said, look, we can flatten odds and we can do all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, if that's still the path that teams feel like is the easiest way to try to acquire talent, teams are going to still do that. Now, I know that Adam Silver wants to find a way to, discourage tanking, but is flattening odds going to do it, or just a long, hard look at the current system? And is that the better way to do it? Because it seems like that's just a Band-Aid. There actually is a bigger root to the problem here that needs to be addressed.
Yeah. Well, first off, flattening the odds to me just means you give a team like Utah, but other teams that have tried to get talent through the draft, you just make it harder.
Yeah.
You literally just make it harder to get the guys they need. And so I don't think, and I think this is, and Adam's kind of admitted this, ultimately, I don't think you can completely do away with tanking because of the nature of basketball. If you go forget Wemby, who's kind of a one-off freak, right? Freak of nature, right?
Absolutely.
If you get Cade Cunningham or Anthony Edwards or a bunch of these other recent Cooper Flagg last year, you get these number 1 picks, you change the trajectory of your franchise completely on the court. And by the way, you make a lot more money off the court, right? All of a sudden, your franchise is worth a lot more money. And as long as one great player can change things like that, I don't know how you change the system. I'm personally of the belief that you just do away with the lottery altogether. They're not going to do that, but I would go back to, we'll call it the NFL system. You're the worst, you get the first pick, man, because then you get the talent and theoretically you get out of that loop pretty quickly. I'd even be willing to say if you get the top pick, you can't be in the top 5 the next couple of years or whatever.
Agreed.
But but I don't know I don't know that there's a solution. The funny thing is, what's going to happen. And I think we've talked about this, Scotty. Because of the lack of depth and lack at the top of the next draft class, whatever they do, there's not going to be as much tanking for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
There's no AJ at the top of this. There's no Devontae at the top of this draft. Where man, we got to go get that guy.
Yeah.
Like there's just not. So there's not going to be as much tanking, and it has nothing to do with whatever system is in play.
Yeah. Adam Silver's going to do his victory lap at the All-Star game next year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we fixed it. We've completely fixed it.
I told you I'd fix it, and I totally did.
Hey, Kurt, I have a quick question because Scotty asked me this earlier, and I'd be curious to your answer. If AJ's in last year's draft, who goes number one?
I asked that of somebody else, Scott, once when they said it would still be flagged. They said it would be Cooper 1, AJ 2.
Okay.
And that would have made that draft a little more tanky, though. Like you didn't.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But they. I don't know, they trusted Flag a little more. He graded Flag a little higher than he's got AJ.
Well, Kurt, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for hanging out, and look forward to doing it again next week.
I look forward to it, man.
There he is. Kurt Helin, NBC Sports, ProBasketballTalk.com, one of our favorite dudes out there. Does a tremendous job. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Kurt's still there. Sorry.
yeah.
All right, my bad.
I was trying to close it. No. Anyway, welcome to the new job, Coach. If you can just keep Scotty out of trouble, that'd be great. So.
Well, that's a big job, Kurt.
It's a big ask there.
I will work on that. You work on the rollaway, and we'll convene again here. All right, man.
Kurt Helin, NBC Sports, ProBasketballTalk.com. Yes, because I am the troublemaker on this show.
That is definitely not the truth. I would say it goes in the order of the guy behind the glass 1.
Number 1.
Me, 2. Then you 3.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like number 1, and then like it's that Moneyball line. Then there's like 2 miles of you know what, and then maybe you, and then me.
Put it this way. If he were a really good player, like to be in that spot, you had to be a really good player. He would be a one-man draft. Because the rest of us are pretty considerate around here.
We need to go to break because, first off, I want to know who sent out the tweet. Okay. But we're going to have to be at break for you to disclose that.
Easy. I got you.
Would I be surprised by it?
No.
Okay.
Oh, this not at all.
No. All right. I got to ask, though. Okay, no names. But when you see that go out, you immediately be like, oh.
My stomach literally, we were walking, it was crazy because we were walking out the bus after shoot around and I saw it and my stomach went as low as it can possibly go. I kind of knew what we were in for.
Yeah.
Because I know.
Because that place gets nasty.
It's nasty anyway.
Yeah.
Like you've been there.
Yeah.
You've called games there.
Yep.
And yeah, it's the opposing team doesn't go in there and win a whole lot. So it's almost better to sneak in and get them. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I called a Utah State game there where they very quietly went in, kept their mouth shut, and ended up getting a big victory a couple of years ago. And then we got out as fast as we could.
That's the ticket.
Yep.
That's what I would recommend from my experience.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
So where does Santana rank in terms of guitar playing ability?
He's incredible. He's great. I don't know that he's not up there levels we were talking the other day.
Yeah.
But I am always up for Santana. Did some great stuff with Rob Thomas, Maria.
Because you're so smooth.
You're smooth, and the Maria ones, I just love that one.
Wow. This is a new show, isn't it? Because
yes, it is.
I'd be talking about...
No. Back in the day, when we brought up Rob Thomas and Santana, it was like, this is the most disgusting, horrible song I've ever heard in my whole life. He hated it.
It is offensive how bad it is.
I love that song.
I know. Well, it's like, it wasn't like, was it something that I have on my rotation on my Spotify list? No. But is it something that makes me want to projectile vomit like the girl from The Exorcist when it comes on? No. But
it makes
potato.
It makes me start,
Yeah, he's like, okay, you hear
snapping a
it, and
little
you're
bit.
not like, you're not hitting the skip
Are we talking
button.
the smooth one?
Yeah.
Give me a little Can you pop it? I just want to.
I think it was a solid song. Like, again, if I hear it coming up on a rotation,
It was poppy.
I'm not hitting skip. Like, I'm fine with that. And you play it, and you're like, okay, that was great. I heard that and didn't hate it.
You know, one of my favorite things about music, there isn't many songs that I just instantly like. I like to listen to them, how they're constructed, almost like you guys used to break down the makeup of a steak.
Oh yeah.
And cheese, smother it with hollandaise.
Which that will still happen from time to time.
No, because I'm telling you, we'll just merge the worlds. It's good. No, see, that's good stuff.
Solid. Again, is it something that I'm going to like
seek out? No.
Probably not. But when I hear it, I'm like, yeah, it's a poppy song. It's good. If Lloyd puts it in the rotation, I'm like, yeah, nothing wrong with that at all.
Sunglasses on.
Yeah.
I can promise you there will be a lot of Santana.
Yeah.
You just love Santana?
And a little less Neil Cicada.
Is Alex like Santana?
I said, hey, give me your best. And he's already gone with 2 Santanas. I say, you really like Santana.
Wow, this is coming from Alex.
He needs to come to my music class.
He's an old soul.
He is. Yes, he is.
Good for him. You know, I do think.
Well, not movie-wise.
No,
like
movies.
Music, yes.
Yeah,
movies. Like he's like in another planet.
Yeah, he's hurt me a little bit with
He's
him.
not with us.
What was it? Oh, it was Shawshank. He hadn't seen.
No, that was one that he did see finally. But yeah, there was a whole list of.
Was it Major League?
Major League? Yes. He hadn't seen that. Yeah, there's a lot.
All right, Alex, grab the mic here a little bit. You're going to have a couple Gen Xers talk to you here for a moment. Alex Napolis, who is, I say this, and I'm not blowing smoke here. Alex is going to be a superstar in this business. Like, we need to get our licks in now because Alex is coming for all of our jobs. But Alex, one thing that we got to help him with in his job progression is if he sits down with, in an interview and some guy drops a line from Shawshank Redemption or Major League or, you telling me Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball? And he's like, I don't know what that means. Well, we need to educate you a little bit. So we're going to come with so Major League, you have still not seen.
No, I have seen it now.
Oh, you have seen it?
I have seen that one.
Okay.
That one and Shawshank are crossed off the list.
Okay.
Shawshank is incredible. Right?
It was very good.
Moving.
Loved it.
Yeah, I mean that's like a top 5 for anybody's
mine.
list.
Yeah, that's mine.
All right, so I'm trying to think of other movies. What's the Arnold one where he comes from the future? Terminator.
I have not seen Terminator. No.
Terminator 2. Then I'm assuming you haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it.
Predator.
Yes.
All right, we'll take that. Maybe. All right.
Back in the day.
Have you seen the sitcom Cheers?
No, but I've seen clips.
Clips aren't good enough.
No.
It's all on social media now.
Come on, this is where you widen your gap of knowledge.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, same thing. So some clips here.
But you have not watched. Okay,
No,
I've watched so much Seinfeld I can't watch it anymore. I've gotten to that point because it's not like I.
But that's how the kids are consuming things. They put like little teeny clips up on Instagram or TikTok or whatever the kids are watching. Are kids even on Instagram anymore?
Yeah, everyone's. I feel like Instagram's become more popular lately.
Okay, but not Facebook. You kids aren't. Kids aren't on
Facebook.
Facebook anymore. Mom and dad and grandparents took that over, and you don't want any part of that. Okay. How about TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok's big.
What's the one that they're using for the naughty pictures that disappear? Is that Snap?
Yeah, but that one, no one uses that anymore.
Oh, okay, so Snap's in the rearview. Okay,
I don't think
good.
anyone uses that anymore.
All right, good. That's good. That makes me nervous. All right, let's see. What else? What other shows should you watch? Any movies you can think of? We got to put a list together for him.
I think the Brady Bunch is essential.
Oh no, I won't make you do the Brady Bunch.
I don't know. You know what's crazy?
He actually has a little bit of a list that me and Nate have been working on with him.
Oh, really?
So I'm going to have him tell you what the list is and what he's seen and what he hasn't.
Oh, okay.
But yes, we need to add to the list because there's a lot of stuff.
So Dowdle's getting in on this too. All right. Okay. So give us your list on what you have and have not watched yet.
Pulp Fiction, Big Lebowski.
Oh, okay.
Saving Private Ryan.
So wait a minute. So you've not seen Pulp Fiction yet?
I have not seen Pulp Fiction.
Okay, that and Big Lebowski. Get ready for some weird turns in that one, but overall great movies. Like there'll be a couple lines and a couple things that happen in those that are like, ooh, I did not see that coming. But you'll get through it.
When you see the Big Lebowski, there's a dude called the Dude.
Yes.
And that has become my nickname from Mark Few.
Mark Few calls you the dude?
The dude. Because I walked in one of the first years I'd stopped coaching, and I walked into the Marriott, and I was in a trench coat, had long hair, my beard. He'd never seen me like that. And he's like, whoa, the dude abides. So now every time I get a text from him, it's the dude.
When we announced here internally that you were going to be the guy, one of our colleagues up north, when I say up north, up the food chain, yeah, and he said, yeah, I was Googling him the other day, and I don't think the guy that was at BYU is the same guy you're hiring. And I'm like, no, it's the same guy. I'm like, you don't look the same. And I'm like, no, look, you had a little beard, a little longer hair. It's the same guy.
Tighten some things up
yeah.
that needed to be, and here we are.
Look, when they make you, because you couldn't grow a beard on the coaching staff, right?
I'd shave every single day I was there, except for I took liberty on Jimmer's wedding. It was in Denver, and so our family went.
Yeah.
And we walked into the reception. I thought I'm free and clear. Coach is there. He didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the president of the university was marrying them. And so, we're sitting at our table, and I got a couple days growth, and I turn around, and he summoned me.
He's like, Coach?
He said, the honor code abides to when you're out of town, too.
Wow.
And I said, understood, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I never dealt with that again. But
yes.
That was the closest I came to being in any kind of problem.
You went immediately to your local Walgreens and got an electric shaver. And
I was so, the entire meal, I just sat there with my hands over my face, like, don't look at me again. Please.
Man, that beard thing's no joke down there.
They don't, well, it used to be.
Oh, yeah, I know. They've loosened things up a little bit.
Now it's like Captain Caveman's playing every position.
All right. Hey, Ryan Smith, the owner of the Utah Jazz, the Utah Mammoth, joined us yesterday. I wanted to revisit some of these comments because we asked him about the tanking thing, and I referenced it with Kurt Helin. This is what Ryan Smith had to say about tanking and fixing it short term, but also looking long term in finding ways to address the problem.
We can flatten the odds, and I think I'm cool with that. I think everyone's cool with that. But, if I'm another team, and we're going to have teams going through the rebuilding process all of the time, we just got to ask ourselves, how long do we want them to kind of be off the track? And I personally think that there's probably a couple teams that really deserved the number one pick last year, right? Because then they could get going. And you saw this a little bit with Charlotte. Charlotte started the year kind of not knowing what they had. They saw that they got something, and then boom, they're like, no. We're in a different spot than we thought. And so I think there's this philosophy or idea out there that anyone sitting in my shoes would ever not want to, or would want to be in a, what I would say in a rebuilding process. No one wants to be in the rebuilding process. I know every one of these governors, they dread it like something like going to the dentist and having a root canal. They don't want to do this. So if they're there, it's because it's the right thing. And I think that's the part of this that's a little like the incentives have kind of shifted that way. So we've got to make sure we still maintain the rebuild process for these teams, because the teams we're even watching right now that are competing are going to be in the rebuild process on the next cycle. And I think you can do both. I think you can do flat odds with everything else.
So there's a lot of issues that need to be addressed. And I appreciated Ryan being honest up front about this, because everybody's upset about tanking. But you know what? Anybody that's upset now is going to be going through it here very soon.
Yeah, I like the analogy to the racetrack.
Yeah.
And you want your pit to be as short as possible. And I think that's what the NBA should really be looking to try to do. It's not a problem that's easily fixable, but whatever rule they come up with, as you know, you've watched college sports, and there's a rule, there's a loophole. There's a rule, there's a way to get around it. And so, for the integrity of competition, I get it. You want to fix it, but at the same time, there's only so many ways you can grow a team. And, like Kurt said, if you've got Wembanyama sitting there who's a freak of nature like we've never seen before, he's going to win 7, 8 Defensive Player of the Year awards in a row, I would bet. When he's sitting at the top and can change the trajectory, how do you not figure out a way to try to increase your chances of getting him? And so the issue is not an easy one to solve.
And I can't remember the number, but when Wembanyama, before he got drafted, before the lottery, somebody ran a business model and said that he would be immediately worth almost like $600-700 million to the overall value of a franchise, whoever drafts him, because of what he's expected to bring in terms of ticket sales, in terms of local TV revenue, in terms of everything else that goes along with it. Like, that dude is going to be worth a mint. And frankly, if I'm the Jazz and you're able to draft A.J. DeBonsa, you immediately sell out of jerseys with AJ's name on it within an hour. You know how BYU fans will gobble up all the merchandise. And if you have a kid that played at BYU getting drafted by the Utah Jazz %1 overall, you won't be able to keep a jersey in stock. And, I mean, his value of what that would mean to this organization, it would make that $500,000 fine look like nothing. Absolutely nothing.
You're exactly right. And so that's why you do all the things you do. It's why these issues have arisen. But at the end of the day, the Jazz, the crazy thing is I've had this thought, what if this is all like, because it's entertainment, right? At the end of the day, all this is entertainment. And you've seen spots where, like last year, it just didn't necessarily make sense. But it made sense if you consider that maybe it was hey, we got to move Luka to a big market and keep LA flying. And in order to do that, we got to take care of Dallas.
Yeah.
Right. So those are the things that go through your head. Maybe this year it's like Utah's never moved up. They've never done anything. This kid's playing in their backyard.
It makes a ton of sense.
Let's do a smoke screen and find them really big. And then when they win the lottery, everybody will be surprised. That's what I'm hoping for.
And then Adam Silver's like, look, we got to change this tanking thing because, look, we tried to get them to stop, and they did it, and they won it. So we can't let that happen again in the future. So, But honestly, I mean, look, Cleveland loses LeBron to Miami, and they win the next 2 lotteries. You go down the list, there's a lot of funky stuff that's happened. I mean, yeah.
So, with that being said, either math is going to math, or we're in for more surprises. But the tanking piece, this is just a chapter in it. They'll never figure it out completely. Nope. People won't be able to agree on it. And it may just be a simple thing. Maybe they should go back to just like the NFL and just lay it down the way it finishes. But we'll see.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up next hour, we'll talk a little Real Salt Lake. Look, it's going to be a big, big game coming up tomorrow, as Messi and Inter Miami will be in America First Field. Xavier Gozo will join us coming up at 1:05. Bill Armstrong, general manager of the Utah Mammoth, will join us at 1:30. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top. You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Look at that.
I said I wanted to.
It's really all he's got.
I said I wanted to take it over.
Yeah.
But nobody listens to me.
I listen to you.
I'm just kidding. I love Santana. This is just 3 in a row. It's triple shot. We used to do that in Dallas. They used to have a what was it? The Eagle, and they would have triple shot Thursdays.
Oh, yeah?
And you give you 3. So we got a triple shot today.
Well, fortunately, that's got to be like the last song we have in the system, so it can't be any more.
I'll send you another one.
I don't know. Lloyd's stepping out for the next hour, so we might have we might get some B-track Santana coming up next hour. That dude, look, I'm a fan.
I don't mind him.
I'm not hating
at
all.
I'm not hating on it, Alex. It's okay.
No, it's good stuff. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Catch the NBA playoffs on Sling TV, the most flexible live TV streaming service, putting consumers in control to watch games their way with flexible subscriptions. Want to catch one game or a full series on ESPN? Grab a 1, 3, or 7-day pass. If you want to catch as many games as possible, get a monthly subscription with our ABC, NBC, and ESPN combo package. Either way, Sling lets you watch the playoffs your way with no long-term contracts. Learn more at sling.com.